Warning: the following content contains strong language and may not be suitable for children. This content is primarily for adults, as this is a trucking channel and truckers have filthy mouths. Please don't tweak if I say viewer discretion is advised.
Morning. Good morning. How's everybody doing this morning? Come on in. Make sure you guys hit that like button. Let me know where you guys are checking in from. All right, still morning. Good afternoon to everybody on the East Coast. How you guys doing this morning? Hopefully you got to check out episode 2 with a new concept that I've been cooking up called the Truckers Panel. It was pre-recorded. We didn't do it live. I think I may continue to do that pre-recorded instead of doing it live. If you'd like to be on a conversation, or if you'd like to sit on a panel, join our Discord. Link is in the description. I'm pretty sure one of the moderators, Pipia, so put it in the link or in the chat. So join the Discord so that you can make sure that you can join in on one of the conversations. We do daily conversations. Some of these conversations can go on for hours. Sometimes I'll jump in the Discord. There's other conversations going on about different things, from politics to politics and trucking to trucking. You got a lot of guys that are in the cargo van industry in there that are sharing tricks and secrets and talking about their market in comparison to other market. There's people that are in the industry in the same market, and there's two guys in there that run the same market, and they're kind of low key. They kind of compete against some of the Roadie XD stuff that pops up for Roadie XD, and one person will let the other person know what's on Roadie XD because they're not in a position to take it, so that the other person can't take it. So it's like them helping each other out when one person may not be looking at his phone at whatever particular time. So there's a lot of camaraderie there. It's not just me there. A lot of the stuff that I see it, but I don't even engage in some of the conversations in there. I host a daily conversation in there, and sometimes I leave and the conversation is going on for hours after I even leave, So if you want to be on one of those panels, then that's the way you need to do it. How's everybody doing? Shout out to Great Polo. I see you. Shout out to all the moderators. Shout out to all the MGM gang. Ty Trillis TV, what's going on? All right, so boom. I'm going to kick it with you real quick. I like these little morning cook-ups, man. These morning cook-ups is real cool. I know it's the call-in show week. I know it's Wednesday and we haven't did it yet. I'm going to try to get to it tonight. If I can't get to it tonight, then we just going to have to push it back another day. All right. Today I want to talk about working for your business for free. I know people see the thumbnail, they see the title, and they just like, man, I ain't even finna go in there. He talking about running freight for nothing now. Absolutely not what I'm talking about. Absolutely not what I'm talking about. What I'm talking about, are you willing to work for free to build your business? Are you willing to work for free to build your business? See, here's the issue that I see. When I talk to people, when people come up on the show, when people hit the link. I was talking to, I think it was Lou Jackson last week. I was talking to somebody else not too long ago, and I can't remember who, but I was kicking it with them, and they was like, well, man, I can't remember exactly what I said, but they was like, well, man, I am my business. And I said, no, you're not. See, when people say I am my business, to me, that's like an LLC. I call that the LLC mentality. Now, all the LLC people going to get mad at me. Y'all be thinking when y'all get mad at me, that means something to me. That shit don't mean nothing to me. I came up with that name, the LLC mentality. That's what you thinking. You think you your business. This is why you in the situation that you in. See, I never think I'm my business because I'm not my business. I'm Mark. The business is the business, and I'm Mark. I'm just blessed and fortunate enough to sit at the helm of the business. I am fortunate enough to be the person who ultimately makes the best decisions for the business, who the business has hired to spearhead it. Yes, the business hired me to spearhead it. You see these corporate companies and they hire these CEOs to spearhead the companies and take the companies into profitability or take the companies into further profitability. That's how I look at myself. I don't think I'm the business. Now, when these big companies hire these big corporate people to take the company further, they pay them these massive salaries. What you don't understand, there's a lot of work that comes along with it. It may not be the work that you thinking about, but there's a lot of work. There's a lot of pressure. See, you think you working hard now by driving a truck or doing some loading, unloading, moving, final mile delivery, curbside delivery, OTR trucking. You think that's work. And you look at these rich CEOs, oh man, they just take a few. That's a lot of pressure, right? It's a lot of pressure. They dealing with a whole different monster. Y'all always like to talk about home. I gotta go home. I gotta make time for family and this, and that's fine. To each his own. Those CEOs that make millions of dollars a year, to make sure that those companies stay green, to make sure those board members are happy, to make sure those shareholders are happy. It's a lot of sacrifice that's associated with it. A lot of time away from home. They time away and they travel on a private jet, but it's still away from home. There's a lot of sacrifice that comes along with all that money that they get paid. Now, when you're starting a business, your business doesn't have the capital to be able to reward you with the amount of time that you need to put in order to build your business to get to success. So when I say it on the thumbnail, when I put it on the title, are you willing to work for free to build your business? I mean, are you willing to work for free to build your business? I 100% mean it just like how you see it. Now, somebody out there is listening to me and they're like, man, he talking about taking cheap freight or running freight for less. This shit has nothing to do about freight. And if that's what you're thinking, you can't comprehend well. Oh yeah, I'm talking to you. You can't comprehend well. That's why a guy like me is going to beat you 40 ways going north. I'm going to beat you 40 ways going north because you can't comprehend. And I'm going to outwork you because I'm going to put the time in, delay gratification, the time I'm going to put that in that I'm not getting paid for, because I'm going to go above and beyond to ensure that my business is successful. I'm going to give you examples of pre-takeoff, and I'm going to give you examples of after takeoff. Building a business, when I was in the building stages, there was a lot of things that I did outside of actually doing the hands-on work that I was being paid for that I wasn't getting paid for. For instance, I could start very, very early, come home 9, 10 o'clock at night, take a shower, and it wasn't eat and go to bed. It was go on Craigslist, make sure I'm posting ads for the next day, going into different forums at that time, different college forums, trying to find people who went to these schools and ask them, could I get some type of email, because you needed an email with with that school's handle to be able to infiltrate into those classified sections so that I could post ads in there for college students so I can book a lot of those college moves during this time of the year when kids are coming to school, and then in May when they're coming away from school. I needed to do that. I had to find other ways online at that time that I could market my services. There was no Facebook groups and all that shit like that back then. There was no Instagram, right? Instagram wasn't even, it probably was in the process of being made, but it wasn't on the market yet. There was no Twitter. YouTube was a place where I say it all the time. At that point, YouTube was just a place where you went on family vacation with your digital camera. You plug the USB into your gateway computer back in the day, or your Dell, and then you upload that video on online to YouTube, and then your granny who lives across the country, you just email her that link so you can show her what the family vacation to Disney World looked like. Charlie Bit My Finger was the biggest, most important video on YouTube at that time, and those of you who don't remember what Charlie Bit My Finger is, go look it up. Charlie Bit My Finger, just so that you understand what YouTube was back then in comparison to what it is today. Charlie Bit My Finger is the atmosphere of what people came to YouTube for back in the day. Family videos and things like that. It wasn't nowhere near what it is now. So like you had to really do a lot of research to find avenues to put yourself out there and to create a footprint so people knew you existed. So I had to spend time doing this. I built my own website. I had to teach myself how to do that. I literally built my own website. It took time, right? But I'm working 7 days a week in a pickup truck. So I had to find time either early in the morning, which never happened. So that time always came late at night. Now, all this extra shit that I'm not being paid for, that I'm not out actually physically carrying some shit, putting it on the back of a goddamn pickup truck that someone is paying me to do, all this extra shit is being done for free. No one's paying me to do it. The business isn't paying me to do it. I'm doing this shit for free for the betterment of the business. See, you gonna go, you think you doing something. But Mark said, man, I gotta start from humble beginnings. So I'm gonna start in my car. I'm gonna start in my pickup truck. And you gonna go out, you gonna go get you some little loads off some gig apps. You got gig apps now. They got the gig economy now. And you gonna go do that. You ain't gonna do it as long as I would have did it back then. If that shit would have existed back then, I would have been on that shit until they kicked me off. So you gonna go out for your few little hours, you're gonna make you some of your little money, then you're gonna go home and you're gonna find you something else to do, or you're gonna go to bed. See, that's where I got you beat. That's where I got you beat. You think it stops the moment you cut the app off. It don't. It don't stop there. You got to keep going. No one knows you exist. You have to allot time into building your footprint. Coming up with different ads. I spent a lot of time coming up with different marketing ads. Yes, still me, Mark, with the Chevy Avalanche, but I'm coming up with different, because back then you didn't have to pay for these ads. Now it's $5 to post in the moving and labor section on Craigslist. Back then, you could spam it, whatever you want, right? But I came up with different ads targeting different consumers. You could have your basic generic guy with a pickup truck will move or deliver stuff for cheap, or a guy with a pickup truck will move one to two items for $100 flat. That's fine. But you also want to create, and I also had to create things that jumped out to specific customers. I had my IKEA delivery ad. We'll do IKEA pickups. I had my delivery ads. I had my small move ads. I had my small move and delivery. I had to create different ads targeting different consumers because certain ads and certain titles would jump out at certain different people. I didn't just make one and just posted it and just stood with it. Oh, this took time. There was no chat GPT. There was none of this shit. You had to sit there and conjure all this shit up. There was no AI that would, you can just say your idea and then it would come up with it for you. See, this is why a guy like me can beat some of you. I'm gonna beat you 40 ways going north. And this ain't me talking shit. I'm just telling you what it is because I know what it's like to go above and beyond. So when people come up here and they're like, man, this ain't worth it to me, this is why I'll be like, man, me 250, me in that situation, 250, I'm gone. Profit 250 because you looking at it like this. I feel it's a lot of I. When people tell me I say you don't get it. If you're running a business and you got a lot of I, you don't get it. Business don't care nothing about I when it refers to you. When you're running a business, listen, these corporate CEOs, the ones that make a lot of money, the decisions that they make are for the best interest of the business, the board members, and the shareholders. Why? Because if they don't produce and perform and show results, the board members are going to vote their ass out. And that $33 million a year or that $50 million a year, that $25 million a year salary with all those bonuses and all those perks. See, a good leader does what's best for the business. They don't do what's best for them. In some cases they do, but it's best for them to do what's best for the business because personally they'll get rewarded. So if I'm in a situation, and let me explain to you why I'm telling you this, because let me kick it with black folks real quick. See, black folks think like have a minimalist mentality. Why? Because we come from the struggle. I get it. I once had it too. But then as I started to see things different, and when I really started to see things different, it's when I started, doing these moves in my pickup truck. And I don't want to forget my thought, but I gotta say this so you can understand where I'm going with this. And God, please don't let me forget my thoughts. I didn't really see things differently until I got a chance to explore outside of my community. I never really went up north, right? And those people from Chicago, you will understand what I'm talking about. I had been up north, but not like that. When I started doing these moves and deliveries in my pickup truck, all these jobs came downtown and up north. Obviously downtown, yeah, I've been downtown plenty of times, right? But I never really frequented the north side like that. North side is where the white people live. And once I got a chance to go up there, because this is where these jobs came from, and I'm up there all day just moving people, it was like night and day considered to where I come from, the south and the west side. The mindset was different. That's when I first started to really open my eyes. So it wasn't just the reason why I am the way I am today, it's not the fact that I started a business, I grew a business, I became successful, the experiences that came along with it. So me going up there, doing these moves on this side of town with people from different walks of life, with different mindsets, I started to really pay attention. Black people have a minimalist mentality. White people, they think in abundance, even if they ain't got shit. You keep your mind minimal, you're going to get minimal results. So I started to make this small little business that I was building from a vehicle that I already own looked like it was a Fortune 500 company. I changed my whole marketing strategy. I made something that was very small in reality look abundant. When those corporate CEOs are faced with huge challenges to make these companies profitable, to keep them profitable, to appease the board members and appease the shareholders, it comes with a lot of sacrifice, a lot of work associated with a big salary. But a lot of the work that they do, they're not being that salary. And when you think about it on the grand scheme of things, it's a lot, but you're talking about a lot of sleepless nights, a lot of sleepless days, a lot of pressure, a lot of phone calls, a lot of days away home from families, meetings, keynotes. They're meeting the needs of the business regardless of what the situation is going on at home, regardless of what's happening back at home. They have an objective to satisfy the business. There's no I. You accepted the position to sit at the helm of this company. You're being paid. We don't give a F about what you got going on. You starting a business from nothing. It's your job to meet the needs of the business. Listen, when he said that I'm not taking 2 feet, I feel like I'm worth more than that. The business feels like that's good. You got to take I out the equation, pimp. There's a lot of things that I did building the business that I didn't get paid to do. But somebody had to do it for one day for the business to be successful. I didn't get paid to build all that market. I didn't get paid to build that website. I didn't get paid for none of that extra shit to put the business out there, to continue to push the business forward. I didn't get paid for none of that extra shit. Nobody paid me to do that. But because I spent the extra time to do those things, the business kept going that way. One day, if I kept doing this extra shit that nobody's paying me to do, I believe one day the business is going to reward me. It has to reward me. And I continue to see things go up and to the right. Now we're here. We got a bunch of trucks. We got a bunch of people working for us. We're making money. And guess what? Even though I'm on salary for $200,000 a year, still a lot of work that I'm doing that I don't feel like the salary is really compensating me for. Actually, I'm doing more work than what a $200,000 salary is worth. But guess what? I can't really complain. It's what I signed up for. I did my montage. Y'all saw me literally washing my own trucks. Why? Because I didn't want to continue to send all them trucks to the truck wash no more. I wanted to save money so that I can continue to have a $200,000 salary, because the margins are very small. So you got to go above and beyond. Guess what? It's my black ass that's up Memorial Day, 4th of July, Labor Day, that's coming there washing them trucks and vans. For nothing. Who's going to pay me to do that? Days when all the trucks are back, why am I still sitting at the yard? Listen, My OG would call me, my girl would call me like, why are you still at the yard? It's 11, 12. Is the truck's back? Yeah, the truck's been back. The last truck rolled in about 6, 7 o'clock. Well, why are you still there? Man, I'm working on some shit. I'm looking for more money. You don't get paid to find more money. It's just something that you just got to do. So you complaining to me about it's fucked up out here is because you not working for free. And I know some people ain't gonna understand what I'm talking about. You're gonna get mad, you're gonna hit the dislike button, but that's why you where you at, and that's why I'm here in the house. And I ain't saying that shit to be cocky. I'm telling you this because it's true. I'm gonna outwork you. If you can't comprehend what I'm saying to you, then it's gonna be somebody that does, that gets it, and then this is the person that you're gonna be complaining about. A lot of people that complain ain't working. They think they working, but they not going above and beyond because they don't understand the difference from working for somebody and working for themselves. It's a reason why I can sit here all day, day and night, live stream in the morning, live stream, talk shit, still run into some of my favorite subscribers at all the fancy restaurants. I see subscribers we be bumping to at the fancy restaurants. Y'all see me pushing the big boy. Y'all don't know what the big boy is, but it's people, they looking at the big boy come up because it's like a spaceship. Oh, man, that's smart. It's a reason why. Because I'm going to continue to outwork you. I'm going to outwork you. You don't want to see me on the grizzly. I want you to be upset. Listen, if you ain't upset, if you're not mad, if you're not hitting the dislike button, then something I'm doing is wrong. I need you to be mad. I want you to be mad. I want you to be upset. I want you to be like, I hate this nigga. It don't upset me. It's satisfying to me. A lot of people still have this mentality of working for someone else. You haven't transitioned your mind frame to working for yourself. And working for yourself at the beginning is going to result into a lot of working for free. And once again, for the people who came in late, I'm not talking about freight. I'm not talking about taking cheap freight. I'm not talking about the cost of freight. This is not what this lecture this morning is about. It's about going above and beyond for something that you started, that nobody told you to do. Nobody forced you to do it. Nobody held a gun to your head and made you do it. If you think you're going to start a business and from the day you started, there's not going to be a lot of time associated with building that business that you're not going to be rewarded for it, you are a fool. Fool. That's what we talking about. So even at peak, trucks, employees, warehouse, the works, I'm still here 11, 12 o'clock at night working. See, when it's in you, it's in you. You're going to sacrifice. I don't give a, I know I'm still here. What do you want me to do? Well, man, I feel like I'm in a relationship by myself. I get it. I feel you, but the entrepreneur in me ain't going to it's not going to let me get up out this seat and come be with you. I'm going to sit here in this office staring at these 4 screens and whatever it is I'm doing, whether it's I'm applying at other 3PLs. I remember one day I had a fuel theft ring going on. And, I had to get to the bottom of it. I sat there. I started researching this shit middle of the day, and it took me all the way into half of the night. Because once I got into the thick of it and started to follow everything, I wasn't finna stop and then resume it tomorrow. I was going to stay there until I had every single culprit. I knew exactly how much money was stolen because the next morning when they came to work, I was on business. I was standing on business. I needed to know. And guess what? It took me all day and all night. That was one of them days where I was working for free. It was days. I remember one day we had some hypes came up the train tracks, broke into the yard. They didn't break into the warehouse, but they came into the yard. And on some of my 16 footers, they stole the catalytic converters. And then they was trying to steal one. They didn't get one. They got three. Then the one they was trying to get, the saw blade broke because it was laying on the ground, and I guess that was it. But you could see on the catalytic converter, they had started to cut. So obviously I had to get that one fixed. But that infuriated me so much that for a couple of days I spent the night there. Cause I'm like, my brother was like, they ain't gonna come right back. You might as well just go home. But me, I was there. I'm working. Cause why? I'm on all night security. And it was a blessing they didn't come back because I'd be in jail right now. Right? Because I would have been protecting property, and you can't protect property. You got to protect life. But if I would have been in a situation I definitely would have confronted it. And by the grace of God, they didn't. And, God was looking out for the kid. I'm glad they didn't come back either. But they did eventually come back. It just wasn't that day. It wasn't that year. It was a couple years later. They came back and got me again. That was a situation where I was working for free. I was on security all night. There was plenty of days I sat at that yard when everybody else was home, when the office staff was gone, that I'm sitting there at that computer doing whatever it was for the betterment of the business. You know why? Because just because we doing good now, just because everything is going good now, don't mean that it's always going to be like that. The contracts that we have, I know what it's like to lose a contract. So I always got to see what else is out there and make sure that I'm applied with them so that if something does go awry, we already in position. I'm always thinking ahead, and all this thinking ahead and the time that's associated with it, I'm not being compensated for it. I don't say I'm doing this for the betterment of the business. I'm an employee. They're paying me. This corporation is paying me to make sure things continue to go successfully. So when y'all be saying, well, I feel like that to me, I consider that's a new term. I think that's the LLC mentality. That's not a corp mentality. I worked on a project in 2019. I've mentioned it before. I recently talked about it in the Discord. It was a tech project that I invested in and I built from ground up. It didn't work out. But the money that was associated into it, the time that it was associated into, even though I didn't do the building and I outsourced the building, there was a lot of time. The work that I consider work was a lot of the meetings and the calls. I had to do a lot of Skype calls, and I had to do them in the middle of the night, right? Because the developer that I had contracted and paid to do this for me was in another country on the other side of the world. So when it's day there, it's night here. So when their business was open, their firm was open, I had to be up at night on long Skype calls, giving them my ideas, looking at the shit that they had going, and still had to get my ass up and go to work. But at the beginning of building that new tech business that I was investing in at that time, I wasn't being compensated for it. Not only was I working, I was also putting my money into it. How do you expect to get results? Some of y'all I just hear complaining, and this is why I say you be complaining about dumb shit. Rates and freight, all this goofy shit. That shouldn't even matter to you if you doing what you're supposed to be doing in the first place. That time you spending worrying and complaining about some shit that you shouldn't be complaining about, because your business should be up and running the correct way in the first place, because you should know your cost per mile. You should know your operational costs. That time can be spent working for free, making sure you got a bigger footprint. Making sure working for free for your business to make sure that you can continue to go up and to the right. Finding new opportunities. But you wasting your time complaining about that shit. Listen, I tried to think the other day. I said, why are they playing about so much dumb shit? Was it ever a time that I complained about dumb shit when I was building a business? And it was never. And I'm not saying it just to be cool. No, it was never a time. I didn't have no time to complain about dumb shit because I was too busy building. My mind was focused on getting more money. There was not a time that we weren't getting any money because we knew our costs to continue to grow. I never would have grown if I didn't know my costs. Can't grow when you're not making money. See, making money has never been an issue for me. Complaining has never been an issue. My time is spent trying to find more money. While you complaining, I'm researching. And if I come into an industry and I become your competition, I'm going to destroy you. I don't think from a minute, I don't have a minute mindset. Successful people don't think minute, even if they don't have a lot. They think in abundance. Even when you seen my raps, the white man, it's a reason why I did that. I'm targeting a certain demographic. I don't give a fuck what you think. I don't give a fuck what the brother man think. None of that shit. I'm going for the money. I'm targeting where the money is at. I'm thinking in abundance. I'm not thinking minute. Yeah, I could have put a brother on there. Right. But guess what? The brother ain't finna spend $200 an hour. They're going to go to U-Haul. They're going to spend $39.99, a dollar amount. They're going to get man phone them, and they're going to do it themselves. Why? Because they don't want to pay me $1,500, $1,800. They'd rather spend $80, put the gas back in there, and spend the rest on whatever it is they spend it on. So why am I going to spend my marketing dollars on a community or a demographic that's not going to spend it with me? I'm in a mindset of abundance. So I'm going to spend my marketing dollars on a demographic that's going to infuse my business abundantly. And this is what I'm saying. You'll go out, you'll spend all your money on marketing to a whole demographic that won't even spend no money with you because you think it minute. A business person don't think like that. A business person thinks about the money. You got to follow the money. But guess what? In order to follow the money, it involves a lot of research. And a lot of this research that you're doing, it's not directly associated with what brings the money in. So you spend a lot of your free time doing this research that you may not be directly getting compensated for at that particular time. But it'll come. You just got to be willing to work for free. I'm out.